Right, we are live somewhere. Good morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to our weekly show, which is called Live Talks or Live Restream Talks or something like that. Let's say hello to people who've joined us today, my friends. Hello, Peter.
Hello.
Peter is in Aberdeen in Scotland. Hello, Chris.
Hello, everyone.
Chris is in St. Nicholas in Belgium. St. Nicholas in Belgium. Hello, Jim.
Hello.
Jim is in Georgia. Hello, Harper.
Good morning.
Good morning, indeed. And Harper is in.
It's morning. I'm the only one who's still in the morning. So,
Right. Before we closed last week's show, Marco did suggest, I think it was tongue in cheek, that we actually talk about flowers today. All those in favour of talking about flowers, raise your hands. Right. What shall we talk about?
I have got something. I've got some. Could you put my full screen, please?
Happy to oblige, Peter.
Jim, do you know what this is?
That's my flip camera.
It's a flip camera.
Yes, it is. And that's a premier edition. You paid the extra money for that one.
£20. And it's a funny story because my friend who I've got on my show next week, right? He's doing, I can never get this right.
You got to pull it closer to you. Put it over. Put it
to me.
There you go. There you like that, like over your body.
So my friend in Stonehaven wrote that book, and he's coming on next week to talk. He's 70 odd now, and I went on to eBay just out of nostalgia, and ordered the flip phone, still in its case and everything, Jim. Yeah.
I don't want it.
Brand new. Brand new.
You tried to sell me a flip phone?
Yeah, you can get them off eBay. Anyway, so a parcel comes in, and I see Stonehaven. I says, oh, that'll be George's book. And I opened up, it was a flip. And George's book came at the same, another time. And I can't believe it. I bought something on eBay. You don't know where each other live. And the guy was in Stonehaven as well. So what a coincidence. Both arriving the same day from Stonehaven, which is just a wee touch bit away from Aberdeen. So there you go. And it's still working, out of the box, working. So I'm so happy. But nostalgia.
I had a lot. I made a lot of money with those flip phones.
And we say hello to Nick. Nick, hello.
Hello, Nick.
Sorry, late on parade. I'm multitasking.
I believe you and Peter were live earlier today.
Yes, I've been on all day. I've been, Melissa, Madam Chili, I was chatting to this morning. Peter this afternoon, a couple of times because I put myself in early. So,
Yes.
Now we're on, and again tonight at 7 as part of my new 90-day live stream video challenge.
All right. Tell us about the challenge.
Yes, I was on a mastermind call. As you recall, guys, I've really got into the affiliate side of things again. I was on a mastermind call on Tuesday. We were talking about goals and strategies and tactics. And yeah, you know, I love live streaming and video. And I thought, okay, let's actually really do let's do a 90-day live stream videos. We're kicking off with actually creating a brand new YouTube account from scratch. We'll also do a Facebook account from scratch, and whatever takes my fancy over 90 days. Worst thing that can happen is I'll have 90 days worth of content, which will, as we know, repurposed, will be a good year plus. So, you know, what's not to I'd imagine I'll probably get a few sales out of it as well.
How do people join the challenge?
Impressive.
Yeah,
How do people join the challenge?
Oh, no, sorry, it's a challenge for me.
All right.
It's a personal challenge. So I'm on a mission. I will be live streaming every day, hopefully at 7 o'clock every day on a weekday. I'll make it a little bit different on weekends because on a Saturday, I'll have a little recap of the previous 5 days. On a Sunday, I'll kind of schedule out on my live stream what I'm going to potentially be teaching, and what everyone else, if they want to follow along, then what we're going to be doing on that next week.
Brilliant.
And
Message in from Carlos, and Carlos is saying, one day I would like to contribute. We would love you to contribute, Carlos. If you can join us next week, I'll send you the link and invite you to the group, and you're more than welcome to join in. It's the same time next week, so that's 12 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. in the UK. And over to Grant, and Grant is saying, hello, guys. And Grant, the same invitation goes for you. 10 places, and if you want to join us, you can join us, and you can talk about flowers anytime you like.
Stephen, do we always have 10 places on Restream?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, and we can move the screen about, and I can go like that. Hopefully that will work, and I can go like that, and you'll never know where you're going to be on screen. This is just drag and drop. Okay, so that's that. That's that. So when you're running the Restream later, you can experiment with how it looks. I think it's just whiz, and I can go like that because Peter likes being on camera, and I can go like that. Put Chris on camera.
Hello.
And I go like that and put Harper on camera. Nick's been on since this morning, so I'm not going to put Nick yet.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Let's go back to this layout and catch up with the comments that come in, and the bots are working overtime. And the next message that comes in is from Liesel, and Liesel is saying, hopefully Liesel is saying, hopefully, yes, he is. Sweden watching, I can join in any week as well. Okay, brilliant, excellent. So we've got 3 of the 4 seats, and we've got to save one for Marco. So looks like we have a full house next week.
Yeah, Lisa's got those 2 little dots over the O in her name.
Yeah, an umlaut.
Umlaut.
Indeed, and we still haven't found a topic.
Question: you can't share a page with this one, can you?
Yeah, you can. It's got a red line. It's got a red line through it, and it's underneath you.
All right, so somebody could do a presentation with it.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can screen share.
We did it last week.
Yeah.
I'm going to use my flip.
Jim, what have you started?
He's going to be playing around with that for a week now.
So, Humla means bumblebee. Okay, all good.
But this isn't the original.
Oh, this is retro. Peter's gone retro. I
like looking at old things, actually.
We're on Blubbing from Written tomorrow. You've got plenty to look at then. Self-deprecation.
But that's not the original flip, because the original flip was silver, and it went, when you finished, remember this, Jim, it went flip.
Oh yeah, I do, absolutely.
I thought it was a fantastic gadget. Just whip it up your pocket, click. That was it.
Oh. Well, you remember when they started new technology like the phonograph.
So how did you make money? How did you make money with it, Jim?
What's that?
How did you make money with it?
With a flip camera?
Yeah.
Well, I was teaching people to send videos to their customers.
Right.
And I'm in the automobile industry mostly. And what we did is when a customer called or contact us on the internet, we would go to the car and do a complete walk around of the car. This is the wheels on this car. This is the interior. And then we would send that to the consumer and do a complete walk around with a little flip camera. And every one of the salespeople was buying those.
Right.
And they were using them. I was pioneering video back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
When we first started using YouTube. And one thing I did with the flip camera that was kind of interesting is I would go do a flip presentation of one of our new vehicles. Then I would put it on YouTube. Then I would email it to myself. So it's now in my own email box.
Yeah.
Then I would forward that email to my complete customer list.
That's right.
You know, that was the only way to do it. You couldn't put all those emails in YouTube. So I would email it to myself and then forward that email to my complete customer list.
Yeah.
Where everybody could see it. And that was the 90s.
Yeah.
It's a great idea.
That was a Panasonic camera like this. That was before the flip.
Hey, wait a minute. What was John Upton saying about me, the milk tray man?
Yes, Upton's been on you every week.
I don't know what the milk tray man is. That must be a UK thing.
Right, it is. We have a chocolate factory called Cadbury's in the UK, which is in the middle of England, near to where John lives. And they manufacture Cadbury's milk tray. And in the 70s and 80s, the marketing advert was very James Bond. And it was a gentleman dressed in a suit, dark suit, dressed up in nines, and he would deliver to the lady in his life a box of milk tray. And Peter, as he is dressed today, is reminding John of that particular advert.
Gotcha.
Oh,
that's the
he's saying you're debonair. He's saying you are sophisticated. Boy, he read that wrong, didn't he?
I'm not so athletic. No, there was a milk tray man. I think you'll get an hour. There was a guy in Britain. There's a place called the Isle of Man, which is in the west of England. And this guy, I don't think he could swim, but he bought a 4,000, what do you call that thing, Stephen? Not a hover, a jet ski, right? And the Isle of Man wasn't letting anybody in, but he was so in love with the woman that he went over rough sea. It took him 4 to 6 hours. He could have been killed any time, and he arrived in the Isle of Man and was immediately arrested and put in prison. So I think you'll be the milk tray man. He'll get an advert. But mind you, you're not allowed to make money in the proceeds of crime in this country.
Yeah.
Did Stephen ever figure out what we're going to talk about this week?
Yeah, I'm trying. If you go to YouTube and you type in milk tray man, you will see Peter.
Yeah.
I
was going to say, on that James Bond theme, do we know when the latest one's going to be released yet?
That's a good question. Anybody know?
Who is the latest Bond?
No Time to Die. It's Daniel Craig, but they delayed it from last year, and it's just been delayed and delayed. So. Yeah. I'm seeing longer and longer.
There's so many movies that were supposed to come out last year that they're totally delaying another year just because nobody could actually get to a theater to watch them. So.
Well, they're up for new James Bond. I've been checking my messages. I haven't gotten a call yet.
You keep waiting.
Jim, I had more than the Light Fleet.
In Aberdeen at the moment, they're actually making a Hollywood film. I think it's called Tetris or Tetris. Not the game, computer game. And it's based in Moscow, supposed to be. And it's getting filmed in Aberdeen. They're using dour grey buildings. And they're down at the old zoological centre and all the raccoons and everything are there. And I found out today that the producer, he's a Hollywood star, I don't know his name, he's quite famous or something. But he's actually from a place called Peterhead, which is just north of Aberdeen, the worst place you could live in the world. That's where he's from. And he says, I brought Hollywood to Aberdeen and hopefully we'll get quite a few films made up here now. So that's the big news in Aberdeen at the moment.
Right, okay, we have a release date for James Bond. It is currently, according to John,
well done, John.
3rd September 2021. Thank you, John.
Hallelujah.
Okay, so look forward to that.
Yeah, looks like it was original April, and then more.
All right. Okay, can you say that again, Harper? Because I didn't quite catch it. I'm just checking the signal. All right. I do believe.
Been to a movie.
There's
Is the
something
sound
we're
okay,
missing.
everybody?
W123.
I think it's okay here.
But he was a bit sketchy here.
I'm sort of good.
Okay. And up to Carlos, and Carlos is saying it's a shame about live streaming.
But
I don't know. So I'm not quite following that.
I got a subject I'd like to hear people talk about, Stephen.
Truly.
How are we dealing with COVID? I get my second shot tomorrow. I'm getting the Pfizer version. So I'm getting my second vaccine tomorrow. How many of you are getting out? How many of you are getting out in public and doing your normal socializing? What are we doing in the different places that we represent?
Nick. While Nick's thinking.
Right,
I've got my Nick. I got my shot on Friday. I've got to sort of go out to town to actually get it, and that will be my first. My second will be 12 weeks later. Our government has laid out a plan out of COVID between now and June 12th, and on June 12th we should be able to go reasonably back to normal. There may still be social distancing and masks, but everything will be open. And if I've missed anything out, Nick, it's over to you.
Yes, well, I'm still pretty much shielding because my mother-in-law is she'll be 96 next month, and she broke her hip just before Christmas, and so went into hospital and caught COVID in hospital. Has survived it, thank God, because we weren't allowed to go visit her at all. Not being Prince Charles, we couldn't go and see our parents and stuff in hospital. And so eventually she came out 4 weeks ago, and now we're looking after 24/7. So yeah, I'm not doing much at all. And because I'm so young, Jim, I've not yet had the letter from Boris to say it's your turn for the injection. I'm sure I'll get it next month.
Yeah.
Are you getting out and about? Are you doing things outside?
Very, very little. Very little. I get out for a little bit of exercise, but because we're shielding her, even though she's had it, the danger is she could actually still get it. I mean, there are people who've had it more than once. So we're being very careful to shield her. So not doing much at all. Live streaming a lot.
That's good.
Every cloud has a silver lining.
John is saying that he had his vaccination last Wednesday. Chris, in Belgium, what's the situation?
Well, I work in the school, so I have to go to the school every day. But mostly there are people and students who come half the week at school, and half the week they have online lessons. And I think I can have my shot before the summer vacation. So in May or June, perhaps. That will be a long time. In Belgium, everything that comes from the government is not so effectively organized. And it is very, very slow here in Belgium.
And Chris, can I ask, is that because I'm sure we're told in the UK that's because it's an EU organised thing, or is it the Belgian government that are doing it slowly?
The Belgian government, yes. The Belgian government is always very slow when they must do something. And there are too many people who are in the case, and they don't speak with each other. It's very, very complicated here when you have to do something with the government. And I think it's really the government, because in other countries it goes better.
Cool.
I'm kind of in a unique boat on this because think back a few years when SARS came out. This is a SARS strain. When I took the vaccine for that, it negated all of my PTSD and TBI medication. So I ended up having a year, even though I was still taking the medication, I was off medication, and it was a rough year. I mean, bottom. I was on rock bottom. So I'm kind of hesitant to take it right now. I don't go anywhere outside of the grocery store. Probably once every 2 weeks. I just been working on my truck and stuff like that. So I'm going to try not to take the vaccine, at least not right away unless I really have to. But that's kind of my thing. I'm honestly, I'm afraid to take the vaccine and all of a sudden have to go through a year of that kind of stuff. So
now, unbelievably, Scotland is part of the UK but runs its own health service, so things are slightly different in Scotland. Peter?
Well, I got funnily enough, I phoned them up and I said, hey, this is, you're not meant to phone this. I said, but listen, I'm a key worker and I want to know if I've been missed. And she looked it up and says, no, you're on the 12th of March. Have you had a letter yet? I goes, no. And the letter actually came in the next day, funnily enough. So it was the 12th of March. I'm going, my partner who's in the same house, she's been done, but it must have been because she was 66 and she was a nurse, so she might have got to tell her. But the problem we've got is we're part of the United Kingdom. But I suppose it's a bit like America because they've got different states. And it's just a bit like that, really. One state has done it this way, another state has done it that way, and Scotland's the same. All I can say is Scotland has been slower. And I just wish, if it was me in charge of the country, I would have banged on the table and said, now hear this. We are taking over the whole of the National Health Service while there is this pandemic. And that would have been the end of the story.
And if you've been in charge, Peter, we've all got a chocolate with our vaccination as well.
No, we wouldn't, because because they're made in Belgium and they're go slow.
No, he would want a lollipop.
Yes, that is the government.
You can't get chocolates from Belgium at the moment, Peter.
Yes, I can't do anything.
Can't send chocolates.
No.
I want to know how come Upton is lurking in the sidebar every week. Where is he on screen?
He's probably working.
Lurker.
Stephen, what's he put out that link? What's that link about?
Where are you?
The big link that John Upton's put on. You better not.
He got told off putting that link on there. And
that's probably the picture of the
afterwards. That's right. Yeah.
The milk
Upton is a lurker.
He sits there and watches.
I'll be live tomorrow, and then in the afternoon he's celebrating his granddaughter's first birthday. So
nice.
He's got a very special day to look forward to tomorrow.
He's making excuses for Upton.
Oh, I ask our Americans a question. That is, we got it all over. It's always on the Sunday papers, but this thing about Harry and Meghan is always like big news here. Does anyone in the States really care about Harry and Meghan and what they're talking about and what their Spotify and that sort of malarkey?
No,
And the British
not I. I've got other things to concentrate on.
Yeah.
The big story here in the
The
States.
last time
Governor Cuomo
cared about a prince.
Governor Cuomo in New York is
I'd
the
say-
big story here.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Right, I'll come on to Como in a moment. Harper.
Oh,
The last time that the Americans, even cared about a prince or princess in the States was when Charles and Diana were still alive. Other than that, they really don't even care.
yeah.
To us, Meghan is just she's another actress. That's all it is. So
True.
Jim, you're
Yes.
talking about Mayor Como, New York.
Governor Cuomo has got a lot of scandal happening right now. It's with forcing the seniors with COVID back into the homes and then covering up the statistics for political reasons. And even his own party, the Democratic Party, is rebelling against him. A lot of people died, and there's a lot of questions being asked. And his aides came out the other day and said, "Yes, we covered it up."
Yeah.
And the excuse they used was we were afraid of Trump.
I just love it.
that's
And
probably
then-
the only true statement that they have.
In Project Veritas last year, undertakers contacted Project Veritas and said, look, there's something going on here because every death is getting marked down as COVID. That was from the undertakers, the funeral directors. And I believe there was a bit of money involved for each death and ventilators and things like that. And it'll all come out in the wash. Something that hasn't been spoken a lot about in Great Britain. There's been a president has had 2 attempts to impeach him.
They're not done yet. They're going to come back with something else because they're so afraid he's going to be reelected next time.
Yep.
Nancy Pelosi's getting dragged out.
Peter, Jim, for the next 4 years, I don't care what he does. He's an ex-president. Back to Mayor Como, because this happened in the UK as well, Jim. Basically, hospitals were running out of space, and they had COVID patients who were recovering, and they sent them into the nursing homes. And of course, as a result of that, COVID took it just took over the nursing homes, and a lot of people died simply because they were sent from hospitals to care homes. Now, we don't at the moment know the full story, but we do know that's factual. Why the government said to do it, I don't know. But there is a complicating factor in New York, isn't there? And that Governor Como actually received $1.5 million in sponsorship from the lobbyists who arranged the movement of people from hospitals.
Upton's throwing a tantrum on the sidebar.
John Upton out.
Upton's having a tantrum.
Oh, no. You know, I actually see Carlos Phoenix quite a lot during the night. Did you know that, Carlos? I can't sleep. I'm up at 2 in the morning. He's always on. Nobody. John, you'll get it tomorrow. You have to cook it now.
Upton's addressing you directly, Peter.
Oh, he always does.
We could all talk about international politics, but not Peter.
If you ever went to see Cats in a Hot Tin Roof, come into our show tomorrow and you watch Stephen. He's like a cat in a hot tin roof in case I see. Right. That's me.
Sorry, just to Carlos's point, I don't know about the sponsorship though. Sponsorship may be the wrong word. He actually received £1.5 million in campaign funds from the lobbyists.
Graft.
Okay.
Graft.
Of course, it's according to the Guardian.
Just one of the last things. There's a journalist in Britain. It's just COVID. But what's happening? You may have had COVID, say, in February, right? And you got COVID and you come out and you survived. 3 months later, you get knocked over by a bus. Guess what? It's put known as a COVID death.
COVID death. Oh.
What's that all about?
Don't know, Peter, because the only COVID deaths are anybody who is 28-day limit on that.
Whatever it is, you know. But if you get run over by a bus and they say, oh, COVID cost, that was the reason, or something wrong there.
Peter, you're getting up and upset. Will you stop?
To the 110,000 people who died in the UK and 500,000 who died in the States, I don't think that stats is the problem. The problem is that people have died. Okay, that's my take on it. Right, okay. Are we still not going to talk about flowers?
No. What successes have people had this week? What great things have you achieved this week? Let's talk about some of that.
Right. I've come together. I've got a cunning plan, which includes Fraser Hay and live video, as you might expect. And hopefully you'll see something on your screens in a few weeks. But I had a flash of inspiration, and there's going to be a new broadcast with Fraser. Will be one of the people there, but I'm going to persuade somebody else yet. Not because it's Fraser, but because they don't know anything about it and can't advertise it until they know about it. So, yeah. The other thing I've done today is I've done an overview of, well, a software system which Nick is going to be demonstrating next Thursday.
Oh.
Where are we going next Thursday, Nick?
Melon.
Yeah, we're going on Melon.
Melon, I think so, yes.
Yeah, cracking little platform. Don't get me wrong, I'm still a massive BeLive fanboy, but Melon is really quite good. I've done a few now on Melon over the last week, and yeah, I'm quite liking it. I'm still it's that testing phase of trying to get the intro video to work when we actually go live. I mucked that up big time yesterday, or day before. But hey, doesn't matter. Yeah, so I'm doing my 90-day live stream challenge on Melon just to give it a real good test out. So I think they're going to be bringing on a lot of new things in the very near future. So it's an interesting one, a good one to look out for.
Okay, quick advert then. Next week is Live Producers Week, and it stars Nick and I, and also on Monday, Brigitte and Banda talking about BeLive. On Tuesday, David Burrows talking about StreamYard. On Wednesday, our very own Marco Novo talking about Restream. On Thursday, as Nick said, he's on Melon. And on Friday, I'm on OBS Ninja. So we've got 5 different producers, 5 different days, 5 different platforms. And we'll be going through each of the platforms A to Z. So if you want to know more about them, join us at 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK, 4 p.m. in Belgium, every day next week. Advert over.
Ambitious. Wow.
Yeah.
It takes a team, and we've been working together for 4 years now. So we've got a sort of clockwork situation going where everybody knows what to do.
Impressive aspiration.
And when will you publish the book?
The book is a separate adventure with Fraser Hay.
Yeah.
Next week is 5 1-hour broadcasts, and then that will give rise to 5 how-to videos in the studio, how each one runs, and then that will give rise to a book on Amazon, which will be all about those 5 platforms. And I do the tech side, Fraser does the marketing side, so there'll be a new book hitting the Amazon bookshelves, I should think, 3rd quarter this year. So that's what I'm up to, Jim.
That's a lot.
It's a lot, huh?
Teamwork. Sounds a lot, but it's right. Okay. All right. Back to your original question, Jim, because I rather hijacked it. Do you want to repeat it?
The question is, what successes, what victories have the people? You just rattled off a bunch of them. I was going, whoa, what are you guys up to? What are you doing? What have you achieved since we talked last? Chris?
I have achieved two things, but it are small things. I work at school, so I have done very much work for the school. But I have also followed the courses with Owen Hemsat, and I have a title for my YouTube channel, and he likes it. It will be smart art.
Yeah,
But that's not so a great invention. And it's a start
Oh, it's a great start.
to do something on that. Yes.
I've been studying Peter Stewart, listening to him. I can finally understand Scottish. Now I can upgrade to Fraser Hay.
Well, the further north you go.
There's some parts of the northeast, as soon as we leave, we don't know what they're saying, and that is the truth. Here's some of the successes I've had. John Upton, a couple of years ago, gave me a birthday present. He'd made up a video for me for my business. And could I get it downloaded to go onto Facebook? And finally this year, I got it onto Facebook as a Facebook ad. And I've got to tell you, people are looking at it because I'm watching it on Clicky. So that's one. I had an excellent, smooth running show today with Nick, and Chris came in and had a look, and Stephen had a wee look.
I have seen it.
And that went well. I was happy with that despite the problems. So that's good. Tomorrow is a big one for me within a group, and that is for my industry. And I'm going to be doing Meet the Professional, where a consultant is just starting out his business after being many years working for a company, his branch. So I'm bringing him in, and we're going to do either a monthly or a fortnightly program about different subjects. That's one. I've also done reviews with it, and guess what? People are starting to copy me. Yeah. I'm in there first. So I'm lining up people for Pest Talk, and I'm lining up the Talkinator. This is why George has sent me a book. I says I'm wanting a signed book. He made me pay for it. It's a typical Aberdonian, that. But George's a good friend of mine. It is just a cost. And so he's coming on. So as far as that I'm concerned, I'm on a roll. And what I'm doing is kind of studying marketing at the moment for my businesses to give them a push in different ways. And I'm going to really watch the Facebook advert. And then once YouTube's up and running, we're working on that as well. And we've probably missed out big time with YouTube. So that's my successes this week.
That's great successes.
Please carry on talk. Just humor me for a moment, please. Just carry on talking.
Oh, me?
Anything you like.
Right. So.
Yep.
And then
Restream has got a mute button. If somebody's talking away and you want to quieten them for a moment, sorry, Peter, then everybody's got a volume control. So you can actually switch the volume on and off for every single participant. And that's a brand new feature which was released on Restream today. So there's a note for your broadcast later on, Jim. You can.
Yes. I've never seen Peter speechless before.
Well, you go and look at last Thursday's one, because they gagged me. They gagged me.
You were, Pete. Yeah, you went very quiet last Thursday. I was watching, and then suddenly,
I was cancelled. It's cancel culture.
Shock.
What have you been up to, Harper?
This week, if you guys can imagine this, imagine taking the seats, the center console, and the carpet all out of your vehicle and then sanding down the floor down to bare metal. That's what I did this week. And because over the years I've been finding out on my truck that was supposedly, I'm the second owner. Supposedly my truck was somewhat restored when I first bought it, and that was back in 2007. It's an 81 Chevy Blazer, and but I'm finding a whole lot of rust in places that shouldn't be rusty, and so I figured, you know what, I'm gonna. And I've already, like, end of last year, I was working underneath. I changed the shocks and everything else. So now I'm on the interior, and so I sanded everything down. I found a lot of rust in places that, if it was truly restored, it wouldn't. The guy literally painted over rust, and so now that I live in a place that is so dry that I can take all the paint down to bare metal on the truck, and the truck wouldn't rust because that's how dry the air is. But I treated it with a really good product called POR 15, and so now part of the cab where the front seats are, that's all done this morning. After I get off of here, I'm going to go out and put the interior back in, and then for next week, I'm going to do the back half of the interior. So there's no rust back there, but I'm going to do it just to prevent everything from ever happening. So because I like to take the top off, and even if it rains, I want to know that it's protected. So, and the price value of those here in the U.S. is just skyrocketing on those trucks. So that's what I did this week.
Let's now go to Jim. Jim, what have you been doing this week?
Oh, everything. We got a new puppy.
Sophie.
You saw Sophie, did you?
Yes.
Beautiful little puppy.
So beautiful. Cute dog.
What we found out, she's eating our house. Termites couldn't eat this house quicker. I mean, she's chewing everything, but we'll get you. I published my book after 8 weeks of rewriting it, and I published it online, just PDF download, and we've sold I priced it at $75 just to price it a little higher, and we're selling the heck out of it. The downloads are just, and your downloads cost nothing, and just so a lot of books. I got a mass email I'm sending out this afternoon to my list. I haven't even emailed my list yet. So I've got that, and then I've got the broadcasts are doing extremely well. The platform, the online virtual learning platform, that's Ziegler on Demand. If anybody wanted to look at it, and it's free. And I've got new sponsors coming in, and right now we're just making money in a lot of different areas. People are paying me for things that we're doing online that take very little input. And I've centered a lot of it on streaming.
Right. Okay. I want to take a point there and put it out to everybody that when we do something today, when we write a book or create a course or make a video, the quality of the video and the value of the video are not based on what we do in that hour. They're based on what we've learned in the previous years. In other words, it's our expertise that we've built up. Yeah? Because Peter, when did you actually start in the pest control industry?
I started in 1986. In fact, 1984.
Oh yeah,
1984.
So over the last 36 years, you have a great deal of knowledge.
I've forgotten how much knowledge I've got looking at the forums, how I have to help people out. I just usually put in one sentence and it puts an end to the forum. You know,
you have that power.
Just with things that just in Britain, we've got to, if I come to your house by law, I've got to give you a right to cancel forum, right? It's actually a criminal offence. So I come to your house and you say that's going to be £170. Do you want to go ahead, sign here? You've got 14-day cancellation. And they say, oh, this one won't pay me that. And they go on and everything. I just say, did you give them a right to cancel forum? They don't even say no, which tells me they didn't. End of conversation, because they'll get hammered in court. And it's just little things like I put in. did you do this? And they don't. It comes to an abrupt end. I said, well, that's a no.
So you're selling expertise. We are information marketers.
Mhm.
That's what we sell. We sell the expertise that we've acquired over the years.
Yeah.
I don't get $5,000 and $10,000 for a 1 hour speech. I get $5,000 and $10,000 for the 30 years it took me to learn what to say.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've learned so much about small business actually that I could say, do you know what earned me my biggest money for a 45-minute talk? It's made about £100,000 now. Didn't make it on the day, is because I give a talk for free and I got a meal. And about a year after, somebody phoned me and I says, where did you get my name? They says, you done a talk at a function, and they've been customers ever since.
Yeah.
So, and it was just it was health and safety people. I hate health and safety people. So I phoned him. I said, where do you hide? Where do you meet like cockroaches? And I went and met him. And I said, I'm going to tell you about my industry. Best thing I ever done.
Cool.
Back to you.
Back to me. Nick.
It's your show, Stephen.
I mean, Nick was giving his expertise away today.
Oh yeah, give it away. Lead with value, and that's what I'll do. Because Peter and I were having the conversation earlier on today on the show that didn't go out. We were talking about the fact that you can tell people how to do things and show people how to do things, and some will do them. The vast majority of people won't want to do it. They'll just want you to do it for them. And that's it. It's that simple. And it's a little bit like one of the nice little things I had last week, or last week, was at a client that I was just running Facebook ads for. Because he had a back office team that knew about landing pages and funnels and the like. And I could have told him straight away they don't, because of what he's doing. But I said that's okay, we'll do it. And it wasn't getting results. I said, look, let's pause the ads so you can get it straight. And then 2 weeks later, he rings me up and says, last week he rang me up and says, can you do an audit of the funnel? Can you do the landing page? And I said, yeah, of course I can. And so, but that's obviously a lot more than just running ads. So it's just demonstrate. He'd seen me do it for someone else, so that was great. He knew I could do it.
And we're joined by Brigetti. Just a reminder, Brigetti is live at 10 a.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. in the UK next Monday, talking about Be Live. Thank you, Brigetti. Thanks for joining us. Okay, Harper, you've got expertise from the military and from your interest in cars, and now you're interested in video.
Yeah, my cars is just a hobby. That's always something that I've been involved in. My expertise is actually somewhat mental health, and I was I used to teach workshops, 2-day workshops, and they were interactive to help people stop somebody from committing suicide. So it's say if we were all in we were all together actually in a room, and I thought somebody was they were giving off signs that they were having serious problems, and I thought that maybe they were contemplating suicide. It was what do you do, because so many people are afraid to ask, whether it's a close friend or anything. It's like, hey, are you thinking about killing yourself? And because so many people, and they've done multiple studies on this, 99 out of 100 people are afraid to ask the question because they think if the person's not thinking about committing suicide, now they're going to. The brain doesn't work that way. You're either thinking about it or you're not thinking about it. It depends on where you're at in that whole process, and it is a process. And that's what I used to do with when I worked for the government. And when I left that job, I was a civil service and I was a government employee. And when I left that, if I wanted to get back into doing that, I would have to have a master's, at least a master's, if not a PhD. And I'm like, I don't even have a 2-year degree in college. I haven't finished. But it's like, so if I want to do exactly what I was doing, so I ended up doing, when I first got out, I ended up doing consulting. And then I actually had Allied Barton at the time. Now they're Allied United or Universal or something. But Allied Barton actually came to me while I was still a government employee and said, hey, we would like to have you come and sit down and talk to our leadership. We want to make Allied Barton PTSD friendly, because they had found out that shortly after a couple of their employees were deployed over to the Middle East, they came back and they had such problems. 2 of their employees, 2 of their veteran employees ended up committing suicide. So how they found my name, I have no idea, but it was one of those, their CEO called me and said, hey, can we meet? I'm like, sure. So, but yeah, I mean, that's where my expertise is. I mean, I wish it was one of those things that I could, it's never heard of it again, but unfortunately it's, it is a very large, but it's still an, stigmatic, I don't know if that's a word, but I just made it up, large stigma against even talking about it. So, but that's where my actual expertise is. But
yeah, there is a stigma in talking about it, and we know that in the last 15 months that the rates of suicide globally have increased.
Yes.
Because I mean, to survive, we need to be able to talk to other people, don't we? If you're on your own, then you need to talk to somebody. And we've been stopped from doing that. As Jim sort of inferred earlier, we can't go out as much as we used to. We're on lockdown, as John Upton said. But you have to try and go and meet people online, which is why this works, because the 6 of us get together today, we talk, we're listening to each other, and we're learning at the same time. We're having fun. That transfers over to the live broadcast. And I think that live video is something that we can actually use as a positive force.
And I have genuinely become friends with the people on the screen here. I genuinely, you were strangers to me 2 months ago, but now I feel Nick and Chris and Harper, Peter. Yeah, Stephen, you are genuinely friends of mine. I may never physically see you in the real world, but all in all, Stephen Healy, we've never actually met, but we've been friends for 15 years. 15 years?
15 years, easy. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're genuinely friends. And he's a staid Brit, outgoing Yank,
Yeah,
I know you well enough now. I could come to the States and you could buy me a coffee.
Oh, more than that. Steak, big steak.
I heard a great quote the other day. It was, our differences are gifts to each other.
Yes, Stephen.
And comment from Brigetti, well-timed Brigetti. Not sure why people are uncomfortable with the topic of mental health, but definitely something we need to be talking more about.
Well, it's coming out now. We've got the same problem with the ex-military guys here as well, and it's a big problem, and nobody wants to talk about it, And it's still a stigma with it. I don't care what you say in Britain, there's still a stigma. Because I remember one guy in the army went to somebody and he said, "Oh, I've got this," and this says, "Man up." That's what he was told. Yes.
Yeah. I can add to that, Peter. My career before marketing was I was pricing healthcare, and we provided the community and doctors for the British Forces Germany. And they didn't even recognise PTSD till way after the rest of the world had actually caught up and realised what it was. And even then, it was a case of we provided a social work service, because the officers would just say, you know, pull yourselves together, you know, don't beat your wives up, go home, tell them they're lovely, and that's it. And, you know, these guys have been in, when I was there, they're just back from Kosovo, and they had seen things that, you know, you would just never, ever want to see. And, you know, of course, they were mentally scarred, you know, but the top brass and the MOD wouldn't recognise it at all.
Correct.
Tragic. Crazy.
Speaking of all things soldiers, there's a guy, there's a couple of things I went to, but Cold War conversations. It's a thing I like looking at and that. So I give £10 to keep the guy going. He puts up videos and he gets interviewees from the Cold War. And I got in touch with him. And I'm going to go and talk about my time in Berlin for a year. So I've had to think of the things I found there. A young boy at 18 going down the streets in a tank towards the Brandenburg Gate, meeting Russians, watching us. I was next door to Rudolf Hess. What else is there? Just little things that I see now. And looking back, it's made me think. And I was up in a place called Lossiemouth, and I was in a garage, and it came over, and it said the Berlin Wall has been opened. And the woman, it was in the garage serving, it was a Berliner, and she shouted out of her, "Yeah, we're free." And I said to myself then, I says, be careful what you wish for. Didn't say that to her. Now, when I go back to Berlin, I always make a point of asking people my age, I said, what do you think of the wall? Do you know what their answer is? Put it back up. Put it back up. Every time I go back, the West Berliners, my age, say, put it back up. Is that not amazing?
Why?
Why? I don't understand. Why they wish that?
Because, Stephen, do you know the answer?
Not offhand. No? I do know that this is behind me is Berlin.
Is it because of the cost?
Berlin. Now listen, here's why. The Germans used to get holidays, a lot of holidays. They were reduced, I'm told. But the East Berlin, all the money was ploughed into East Berlin to bring it up to new standards. And there's Westies and there's Osties. And there's still a divide in the city as far as they're concerned. And even some of the old East Berliners want the wall back up because they were happier then, mainly older people.
Okay. Now, should we be sending people to Mars is the question.
Well, you went to Berlin, I went to Mars.
Jim is there.
I went to Mars. He'd go to Berlin, I'll go to Mars.
Yeah. I just want to praise NASA for actually achieving going to Mars. And just on behalf of Peter and Nick and I, there is some British technology involved in there. But it is
it was definitely a partnership. So.
Yeah.
If you look real close in the background, you can see a McDonald's.
Not yet. Hopefully not. But I mean, the clarity of the pictures being sent back is just totally amazing. Totally amazing. It blows me away. We'll probably hear from our space correspondent tomorrow on Blabbing for Britain, Mr. Stephen Silk.
Oh, yeah.
We've come to the end. I mean, we chat away for an hour and we enjoy ourselves and people join us. It's absolutely brilliant. We've come to the end of our hours. And Chris, would you like to close the show, please?
I have never done that before. And now I have no voice.
There'll be a gentleman to rescue in a minute if you want.
But everyone who visits us is very welcome to do that. And it was an enjoying evening.
Bye, everybody. We'll see you the same time next week. Bye.
Bye.